am so excited tonight. We have many of the contributing authors of Entrepreneurship My Story Your Guide. I am Dr. Sharon, host and creator of Write the Book Now, educator, author, entrepreneur, and speaker. And boy, do I have a treat for you tonight. I have several, and then a few may come on as we are progressing, and that will be okay. So I have Tina Gray, I have Asnita Norman, I have Christina Elkin Thomas, Lanice Williams, Sansari Roper, Sansari, I hope I said that name correctly, and Sharndale Lowe. I am so excited. And I'm going to start with the visionary of this dynamic book, Miss Lanice Williams. Welcome, Lanice. Welcome to Write the Book Now.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So if you can please tell us a little bit about who you are, and we'll go through everyone, and then we'll get right into the book.
Okay, so I, as you said, Lanice Williams. I call myself an entrepreneur enthusiast. I love everything about entrepreneurship, and my goal is to help as many women as I can realize their potential and also into entrepreneurship. So I help them through consulting, through my legal experience, making sure they have all of their I's dotted and T's crossed. And I'm also a serial entrepreneur. So I have another business that's called Made Leather Company, where I import handmade bags from Morocco and sell them to people all across the United States.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Thank you so much. And Miss Tina Gray.
Hi, how are you?
Awesome.
Should I tell you about myself? Tina, I'm in Dallas, Texas. Joined the group as a result of Lanice, and have my own company, which is Tag Pro Resources. It's outsourced CFO, advisory services, bookkeeping, tax prep, all of the solutions for a small business owner. And I also started a second business, which is called Her Success, which celebrates women in business and helps empower them to become all they can be. And I talk to the girls at my alumnus, SMU, and talk to them about career options.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And welcome to Write the Book Now. And Ms. Asnita Norman, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Asnita Norman. I'm the owner of Pure Essence Resale Boutique, located in Warren, Michigan. I'm a native of Detroit, Michigan. I live on the outskirts currently now. I love resale. I have a resale business that I've had for 3 years, collaborating on the book project, following Lanice on Instagram. And, we did the book launch, and just happy to be able to collaborate with some awesome, wonderful women with so many different stories. And we are just gelled, and we still have a sisterhood as we, currently after the book, we keep our group going live. So that's just me.
Awesome. Miss Christina Elkins Thomas.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Christina Elkins Thomas. I have a digital marketing boutique of sorts, and also co-founded Elkins Family Enterprises, which is a print brokerage. We create business cards, flyers, web design, things of that nature. And I also have a product line of personal care products that called Chrissy Scents, and it consists of shea butters and natural care for women. So excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Miss Sharndale Lowe.
Hi, my name is Sharndale, and I'm the owner of Cupcake and a Smile. So I'm actually working right now. I didn't want to miss this opportunity, but I could not get a driver today, but I did get some help. So I was able to drive my help out here. But I'm the owner of Cupcake and a Smile. So I have a bakery located in Richmond, Texas, and I also have a dessert truck where I can go out and meet the demand of people who want my products. So right now I'm actually at a school, but at my bakery we sell cupcakes and cookies and brownies and puddings and all things sweet. So that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Good, awesome. And Miss Sansari, please don't kill me, Miss Roper. tell me your name.
It's
My name is Sincere Roper. I reside in Houston, Texas, and I am the owner and operator of Clark Home Care. We provide in-home care services to patients that need assistance with activities of daily living, and it's non-medical. So things like bathing, dressing, cooking, cleaning, medication reminders for maybe patients that have dementia and what have you. And so that's basically what we do. I'm also a nurse practitioner, so I also see hospice patients as well. So that's what we do in Houston.
Okay, thank you. And I see Miss Patrina Dixon has joined us. And Patrina, what we're doing now is just introducing yourself and telling them a little bit about your business.
Great. It's my turn to go?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Patrina Dixon, and I am the founder of It's My Money. It's My Money started off with being the name of my book, which is a financial literacy book for age 13 to 18, and it has just been great because during this journey I've been able to do workshops and book clubs and keynote speaking engagements because the need is so great for individuals of all ages to learn how to better manage money. So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. And so we're going to dive right into the book. So I'm going to start out with the visionary, Miss Lanice Williams. Miss Lanice Williams, your chapter, first of all, before we even get into the chapter, please tell us about the vision that you had before this book was created.
So this is actually my third collaborative project that I've led. And the other projects were a little bit different. So the other projects, people kind of gave their backstory, would inspire them, would encourage them to become an entrepreneur and things like that. But I felt like something was missing from those projects. They offered words of encouragement, advice for people that were interested in entrepreneurship, but there weren't any stories where people actually told what they did to get to where they were. So I wanted to create this project so that other people could hear stories and maybe step by step of what other people in different industries did to get to where they are now. Did I lose you? I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I had muted myself.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for that. Absolutely. And so I want to just ask anyone of the authors before we actually get into the chapters, what was your experience? Because I know many of you may be authors already. And as a lead collaborator, I know the challenges that you have. But what was your experience working with others? Someone mentioned early on that it was like a sisterhood that you have continued to keep now. So can you please tell us what was your experience? And anyone can jump in.
I could jump in. I mean, the experience was an awesome experience. A lot of times it's kind of hard to write about yourself, but the way that the information was displayed, the structure of the project made you feel more comfortable. The communication that we had with Lanice and her team, as well as with the other entrepreneurs, we would kind of, question each other about different things. One would help the other. So it was just a wonderful experience. And I think for me, the part was able to connect with people from so many different areas, from, and around the States. It was, everyone has a different story, different, we come from different environments, but we are joined together, sisterhood. So that's what I enjoyed.
Okay. Any other enjoyment?
I will add, I think that we all came together and we all had different stories, but the interesting thing was you looked at the details and the underpinnings, we all had the same motivation. We all realized that we were the ones who were in charge of our destiny and we had to make those decisions. So it's all stories, but you also see that it's kind of the same. We chose to take the risk and go out on a limb. And so it is like an immediate sisterhood because we know exactly what the other one's going through emotionally and financially and the stress level and the risk level as well.
Absolutely. So let's dive in. So I'm going to start with Miss Lanice, and her title is Mindset of Matter. And so that was very enlightening, Lanice. And I'm going to start because you talked about when you were 10 years old and someone did not want to be, as you called it, your business partner. Can you tell us a little more about that? I said that is hilarious. So tell us a little more about that.
It's funny because, as Nita said, it's hard writing about yourself. It really is hard, but the good part about it is you have so many memories. People had asked me, when did you first realize you wanted to become an entrepreneur? And I didn't have an answer to that question until I started writing this chapter. And I remembered that story. I tried to go back as far as I could. And the story that you're referencing is when I was 10, we had a neighbor that had the same breed of dog that I had in my home, which was a chow chow. And I wanted to breed our dogs. I had a boy, she had a girl, and I thought it would be a great idea to breed the dogs because the puppies cost like $250, $300 each. So in my 10-year-old mind, I'm like, that's a whole lot of Barbie dolls and bubble gum that we could get if we can sell these puppies. And I was just really upset that she just didn't want to do it. I couldn't understand, like, how could you want to pass up on an opportunity like this? I couldn't understand her mindset, and she couldn't understand mine.
Exactly. I thought that was so funny. and it even transcends even now when you have business opportunities and people just don't see your vision.
Exactly.
So it happens even as adults that so many years ago. So definitely. So I'm going to go over to Christina. Now, Christina, you talked about finding your zone. That was such an impactful part of your chapter. Staying in your lane, I think you even mentioned. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, when I wrote that, I just I'm a creative person. Like, I like to create things, and I think that people are at their best level when they find the thing that they love and the thing they're naturally good at, and they gravitate towards that, and they just get lost in it. And I know that when a person finds their zone, whether it's business or arts or fashion or whatever your passion is, once you find your thing and you go with it, like, you can't lose. So I just think that it's a powerful thing to be able to find whatever it is that you're good at. Because once you get in that zone, it's like you can't even see anything else, and you operate on a level of excellence that allows you to excel without even really trying.
Absolutely. And you really go in with the intention of, not putting yourself in a box. I love that. I love that. And the readers will really get a lot out of that. So we're going to go to Asnita Norman next. Asnita, you talk about building your wardrobe with key pieces. Now, you have a resale boutique, correct?
That's correct.
Absolutely. And so this was so powerful because, number one, I didn't even know there was an association, NARTS. I'm like, what? So I want you to talk a little bit about how it doesn't take the whole new wardrobe, because like you said, there are key pieces that you can use over and over again to make a whole new style. So talk to us a little bit about that in your chapter.
For me, it's I love to shop, like anyone else. But I will always find like my better deals, like for at resale stores, whether it be a garage sale, a thrift store, Salvation Army, or maybe something that someone gave you. And when I would put my pieces together, I would stop myself to go to an event, maybe work or, to an outside event. Everyone would go crazy over pieces that either were not borrowed, but given to me or purchased for a little bit of nothing. So I always would tell people, it doesn't take a whole lot to look nice. It's just the way that you put things together and making sure that your outfit flow. So in the chapter, I talk about your key pieces, like you can never go wrong with black. You know, you always got to, if you have a nice black skirt, nice black blazer, black pants, you can always find a beautiful top, shirt, or something to accent that, you know, that black piece, because everyone has black heels, or males, you know, they have black shoes. So I just always talk about keeping the key pieces to make you look nice, you know, because I always tell this one story. I have this one black dress that I bought. It's like a stretch tank dress. And I've worn this dress probably to like 6 or 7 different events in 1 year, but I've worn it differently. The key is it's black. So I'll put a blazer over it, a shirt over it, a vest over it, you know, and just kind of make it look different. So that's what I build off on, just having style and being able to wow someone when you walk in the room.
I love it because you are so right. Nothing you like to see go wrong with the black anything. That is so correct. Patrina Dixon, you are up next. And just like Lanice, you talked about your first business idea or transaction with the lollipops. And I was like, oh my goodness, how funny is that? Can you talk to us a little bit about that experience for you?
This opportunity that we've had, people that have purchased the book since published are now calling me the lollipop lady. So it's so funny that people are really, that story is resonating for a lot. So when my mom used to bring me like tons of lollipops home, and I said, all, even though I wanted to, I just couldn't. I knew I couldn't, and I figured out a way how I could utilize what I was getting for free and translate that into money. And I think I heard someone say earlier, I think it was Lanice, like, what? Like, I can make this into something else so I can buy things that I really wanted that was not candy. So it worked out really well for me because a lot of parents didn't allow their kids to have candy school or the school that I attended. So their lunch money became the money I got for lollipops, and it worked out really well for me. And you know, I've had that entrepreneurial spirit since that time.
I know. I thought it was so funny. I was like, oh my goodness. They actually, I think you said they called you the candy girl back then.
Yes. And now they called the lollipop lady. That like,
is so funny. Exactly. Okay, Miss Tina Gray, you are up next. Your chapter was Defiantly She. And what really resonated with me for your chapter is the humble beginnings. You really start out talking about how you really came from humble beginnings, and that the reason for your entrepreneurship was simple. You were tired of working for the man. And I said, that is so funny. So talk to us a little bit about that.
It's true. It's a different dynamic for women in business. And I work in the financial industry. So you're constantly surrounded by men in positions of leadership. And those are all of your bosses. And the more I looked and learned and listened and watched, the more I realized I can do this. I can do this independently. I can be the one that's in charge. I can take control of my life and do all of this and even do it better. So I, as I said in the book, I watched and learned. I realized, you know what? I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to take a chance and I can do this on my own. And there's nothing like working for yourself, having the independence. The next thing is you get to be your own boss. The downside is you get to be your own boss. So you sort of have to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable, and the clients are really my boss. So, but the independence, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than being independent.
And you actually go on to talk, because you actually left your career. You were working a career with a great salary. And a lot of times that jump or that leap is extremely scary.
Yes.
So talk to us just a little bit about that transition period from when you did leave that comfortable salary to say, okay, you know, I'm going for it. I'm taking the leap. I'm jumping.
Yes. When I was working for an outsourced accounting firm, I got to work with multiple clients, and I realized how much I enjoyed the multiple clients, the diversity in clients, the diversity in the industries that I got to work with. So I had a non-compete when I worked at that company, and I ended up losing interest working for the owner. I wasn't crazy about some of the deals that were going on. So I moved to another firm. It was a private equity firm, and I spent a year with them in an accounting leadership role. And in that year, my non-compete burned off, as we say. So I started thinking and planning about when I could start the business. I knew we were coming up on the annual bonus, and I planned for that. I waited until we got our annual bonus after being at the private equity firm, and then I respectfully gave my notice. And literally just weeks later, a friend of a friend said, "Do you know anyone that can help me with our accounting? The restaurant needs help with the accounting. Do you know anybody that can help me?" And I thought it was a joke because I had just started my own business. So literally within a couple of days, filed my LLC with the state of Texas, put together my first proposal, and just hit the ground running. And it was really empowering.
Wow, that is so awesome. Oh my goodness. Shondell, you are next up, and it is really just almost heart-wrenching how you started your baking business, because it was really a medical issue that you had initially that really fostered this love of baking. So can you talk to us a little bit about that whole experience?
Sure. So I had a lump behind my ear here, and I actually have a scar that's still here, but I had a lump behind my ear, and I thought it was just something that was minor, but my mom kept nagging me and saying, "You need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor, go to the doctor." And so I did go to the doctor, and come to find out I had a parotid gland tumor behind my ear, and I had to have surgery for that, to have it removed. And thank God it was benign. But during the surgery process, my nerves shattered. So I actually lost movement on the left side of my face. I couldn't blink, I couldn't smile, I couldn't do any of those things. And I was also not able to work, because it was just too painful. Even though I was on pain medication, once the pain meds wore off, it was like somebody was hitting me with like a skillet up against my head. It hurt so bad. So I just couldn't work anymore. But I've always had a desire for sweets, but I never baked, I never cooked. That's just not something I did. I was a career person, just working, trying to get up the corporate ladder. That was my goal in life. Well, I started baking at home just to kind of satisfy my sweet tooth, and I can also be creative with it. And so I started baking, and I give my items to my neighbors, and they would critique the desserts and the flavors. And then I started cooking for my friends at work, and it just kind of grew from there. And then I got a food truck, and people requested me more frequently, asking me, "Where are you located?" Well, I was still working full time, making deliveries during my lunch break, after work, and all those things. And then I got laid off in 2015, and I decided I'm not going back to work. And that's when I decided just to take the leap of faith, kind of like Tina talks about, and just decided just to go forward 100%. And quit, I didn't quit my job. I didn't look for another job either. And so I opened up a brick and mortar in 2016. So now I've been operating my brick and mortar for 2 years.
Wow, congratulations on that. That is so exciting.
Work never stops. That's the only thing. It never, ever stops.
Never stops. That's it. Awesome. Okay, let's move on over to Sanseria. Did I get it right?
Yes, you got it. Perfect.
Okay, so what really captured me about your chapter was really the beginning. You started out by saying that you personally funded your startup. And you talk about the marketing and how, as entrepreneurs, we have to open our mouths to say, yes, we are in business. And so I first want you to talk about that whole experience of really funding your startup.
Okay. So when I was starting out, I was kind of researching what I wanted to do. And I decided that I was working as a nurse practitioner full time, and I'm getting a little bit burnt out from that. But I still wanted to help patients, still wanted to help people in their homes. And I would go to see patients in their homes, and they would always say, "Man, I really need somebody around here to provide some help, or maybe just help me bathe, or come around for a few hours and help cook and clean." And so I just saw a need for that. And not only a need for it, but to have someone to come in that was good and would be dependable to provide care for those patients. And so that's how I decided to start my non-medical home care agency. And so what I did while I was working full time, every time I got paid, I bought something. So I would get paid. I went and purchased my LLC. I got paid. I put half down on my website. I got paid again. I paid the other half down for my website. So I just kept investing in me and cutting down on, it's amazing the things that you can do when you put your mind to it. I just started cutting down on things that were not a necessity. Netflix had to go. And so I was having a conversation with my mom, and I told her, hey, I cut Netflix, and my son was sitting right there, and he was about 5 at the time. He was like, you cut Netflix? Like, he was appalled. Yeah, son, that has to go because I'm trying to build a legacy for you. So things like that, maybe not going to the nail shop as often, eating out less. If you want to drink, make a drink at home. So things like that, I just, instead of wasting it on things that would satisfy me temporarily, I invested it and put it into my business. And so that's how I kind of got started with funding everything, was through my own money, because I didn't want to take out a lot of loans, didn't want to run up credit cards, because I didn't want to be in a whole lot of debt at the end as well. So that's what I did. I just started investing in myself.
Now, and some of you are career professionals as well as entrepreneurs. Some of you are full-time entrepreneurs. So it's a variety of things. So what I would like for you now is to talk to the individuals out there who may be thinking, okay, I'm working, I don't necessarily want to leave my profession, because you have a mixture of everything. Each of you really go through lessons learned, basically, is what you do. So what is one of the tips or the lessons that you give in your book that you would give right now for individuals? And let's start with Tina.
Thank you. One of my tips is that, and there's different schools of thought on this, but I have seen people try to start their own business and keep a full-time job and fail. So one of the tips is that you've really got to be 100% all in. You've got to be fully focused on the entrepreneurship plan, or you're going to be splitting your time and dividing your time, and you will not be as successful as you would be if you gave it 100%. So the focus is very important to eliminate the other responsibilities all in when you start a business.
Okay, Christina.
Well, my advice would be to make sure that you are building your list, your email list, and getting contact information for each and every single person that you come in contact with who is in love with whatever it is that you do, because you want to establish rapport with them and build somewhat of a community with them. Just keep them up to date so that if you're in a situation where you may never see them again, but they're crazy about your product, at least you walked away with some tangible piece of information to build a list to keep them in the loop about whatever it is that you want to do. If you're a working professional and people where you work love whatever it is that you do, make sure that you build a list. When I started my skincare product line, it was an accident. I was praying like, God, I need something to sell. I need something to sell. And I was making soap. And I walked by and I was like, wait a minute. And then I just kind of put my finger in the mix and I said, ooh, this is money. You know, so there was a lady at my job at the time who was in love with the product. And so I met her, fast forward, I met her again a second time, and she was like, you're the shea butter lady. And she told like everybody on my floor, everybody on her floor, she had everybody running to my desk, putting in orders. And so, you know, my biggest regret was that I didn't get the list when I was at the first place, because I can establish the rapport and keep them up to date, whether I move or whatever happens. So that would be my advice, to just keep track of who likes your product. And if you can, get a list of the emails and just let them know and keep in touch with them.
Okay, I love it. Sunseria?
I think it really just depends. I think if you're gonna go full time, I think that you have to set things in place in order for you to be able to do that. Like I said, cut back on necessities that you don't necessarily need, just to kind of brace yourself and prepare yourself just in case it doesn't take off in the first 6 months or even the first year. So, and if you do have a job where you can kind of work around, for me, when I first started out, I was working full time, and I had to kind of give up that job because it was so time consuming. I would see patients during the day, have to come home continue to chart on patients, check emails. So that really wasn't conducive for me trying to run a business. So what I did was I scaled back on things that I didn't need, and I took little PRN jobs where I could work around and see patients based on my schedule and my availability until I could start building my business up and building up my patients. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So that's what I did.
Absolutely. Patrina.
So I am one that works full time and do my business on. So I have a 9 to 5, and my business is all the other hours. I know that there's 2 rules of thumb. I think for me personally, and I think some of the others said this, is you have to make that move when it's right for you to make that move. For me personally, message to my madness is I don't want to take out a lot of loans. I don't want huge credit card bills for funding my business. So I have a supportive who takes care of our house so that I could use what I make from day job to fund what I'm doing, to make my business grow. So that's working well for us. So there is a plan, if you will. And I think I do agree that when you're in full force, it makes it drives you in a different way, because that is money to pay your bills. That is the money for you to eat on a given day. But when you're not there and you have a plan to get there, I think you can be as successful because you have the same drive, because you're trying to hit that deadline that you have in front of you. And that's work 9 to 5. I can fund what I'm doing so that I don't have to get loans or extend my credit for purposes of business. So that's what's working for me today.
Okay, thank you. Shondell.
I would just say that the mindset is very important. And I think one of the greatest lessons that I've learned being in business is that it's okay to ask for help. Because for me, I was so used to doing everything by myself first starting off, because I was learning. I was kind of working off the cuff, if you will. And so I had to learn how to take a step back and put processes and procedures in place. And then ask for help, and also to get systems in place that will require less of my time. So those will be 2 things that I would, 2 tips that I have is to don't be scared to ask for help, because people will help you if you ask them, and also to get processes and procedures in place that can help your day run smoother.
Okay. Asnita.
For me, I would say passion, determination, and consistency. I mean, you have to be passionate about what it is. If you have no passion, how can your vision perish? It won't go anywhere. So you have to be passionate and be able to stick through, to know that you're going to have some wonderful days. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to want to quit. You'll wonder, where will my money come from, my rent, to pay for my website, or if you have a brick and mortar. So you have to have the patience to know that it's going to be rough in the beginning. But if you continue to be determined about your vision and your goal have set for yourself, that it can work, and you can make it happen. And being consistent is being consistent with, prioritizing life, prioritizing your time. And if you don't have, pretty much giving up on yourself. So you have to be, patient, determined, and have consistency.
Okay, thank you. And our visionary, Miss Lanice Williams.
I would say the most important piece of advice is to never be afraid to reinvent yourself. I just spoke at an event over the weekend, and that was the biggest point that I tried to drive home to people, was that people encourage you to build a business based around your passions, but many times your passion changes. You may like one thing in 2017, you may like something else in 2019. So it's okay to start over. It's okay to maybe be a little bit more innovative, to do something to change the game up a little bit or change yourself up a little bit, because otherwise one of 2 things are going to happen. Either other people are going to become bored with your brand and the fact that you aren't offering anything new, or you're going to become bored with yourself and your business, and it's all just going to fizzle away. So just make sure that whatever you're passionate about, you go forward with it. But if you have another passion, and if you feel that you want to reinvent yourself and do something else, then that's okay too.
Awesome. I tell you, I thank you guys so much for your time. And again, the book is Entrepreneurship, My Story, Your Guide. And I would love for each of you to please put in the comments on the Write the Book Now under this video where they can purchase your specific book from you. And so definitely, ladies, I would say thank you. And Lenice Williams, what a wonderful, wonderful collaboration project that you put together. So thank you, everyone. I so appreciate your time. Guys, go out, buy the book. Make sure you follow them. So in addition to their purchase link, I'm going to ask that you please put your social media following link as well, so that individuals who have just gravitated to you can connect and follow with you. So again, guys, thank you. And as always, if there's a book inside of you, don't wait. Write the book now.